We now move on into our first session of the day, ESG and sustainability. This session will explore how innovation can drive sustainable and responsible growth in today's corporate and social environment. I would like to invite Ms. Anjani Patel, who will be moderating this session for us. She's a senior sustainability consultant with Savvy Greens. Ms. Anjani Patel is a sustainability professional and serving as a technical associate in ESG and sustainable development. She focuses on sustainability consulting, environmental initiatives, and supporting green building and ESG aligned projects, and has contributed to international sustainability forums on ESG practices. Thank you, ma'am, and the stage is all yours.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. I hope we live up to the hype from the previous session. I would like to welcome you all to our panel discussion on ESG and sustainability, innovating for sustainable and responsible growth. Today we'll explore how sustainability and innovation builds resilience for the companies in this world where climate change has become a reality and geopolitical tensions are disrupting the supply chains and the relation between countries as we know. With that, I would like to call upon stage our panelists. With more than 2 decades of professional experience, Vivek Shah is a chartered accountant and senior partner at Ramanlal G, Shah Co, specializing in BRSR and ESG assurance, helping firms integrate sustainability into financial reporting for credible growth. Vivek, sir. Thank you. Ankit Kapasi leads sustainability services at DSS Plus in Ahmedabad with 20 plus years of experience in decarbonization, circular economy, and scope 3 strategies across industries like chemicals and logistics. Thank you, Ankit. Mr. Snehal Jariwala is the MD and CEO of NEPRA Environmental Solutions Technologies, driving EPR compliance, sustainability, innovations, and tech for net zero urban resilience. Thank you, Snehal, sir. And last but not the least, Ritika Goenka, founder of Planetary Plus. She advises companies on measuring carbon footprints, preparing ESG disclosures, and designing sustainability strategies that are practical and impactful. Thank you, Ritika. Thank you all for taking out the time from your busy schedules. Before we start the panel discussion, I just want a show of hands on how many of you all know what ESG is. ESG? Okay. That's our audience then. Thank you. I hope we can tell you more about ESG and sustainability through the next 1 hour. My first questions for you, Vivek. How can small businesses start with simple ESG or sustainability reporting without needing big budgets or teams? And before you get into the question, please tell more about ESG to our audience.
Of course. So, first of all, I'd like to thank AMA for organizing this and inviting us for this panel discussion. Thank you so much. Getting onto the subject, the question that you raised is very, very interesting. And since all of us do not have a background of ESG and sustainability, to make it simple, have every one of you heard about SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India? Right? All of us, I'm sure, would have heard about it, right? Okay. So, just focusing on the India context and scenario, SEBI introduced a requirement and a mandate for top 1,000 listed companies in India to report on various environmental, social, and governance parameters as a mandate to be reported every year with their balance sheet every year. So that happened a few years back. So that is what we call the sustainability report under a BRSR framework in India specifically. Now there are various frameworks all across the globe, but to make things simple and put it in context, let us focus on this first aspect that we have a sustainability reporting mandate introduced by SEBI for Indian companies or for Indian corporates, top 1,000 listed companies to be precise right now. Now, As we know, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. These are the three areas in which the reporting has to be made every year. So the question, ma'am, can you please repeat the question for, again for the understanding,
Yes.
so that now we have a better context.
So the question was, how can small businesses start with simple sustainability reporting without needing big budgets or specialized teams?
Okay. So, like I said, sustainability reporting would have three main pillars: the environment, the social pillar, and the governance aspects, right? Now, things get very, very complex when you go into detail, things get very granular also in this whole area. But to keep things simple, any SME or any company who wants to start reporting should be focusing on the environmental aspects to start out with, and obviously the governance aspects to be starting out with. There are three main pillars in environment. The first is carbon. We all have heard about carbon credits and everything, right? Right. So the carbon, it's a buzzword everywhere in the sustainability sphere all across the globe, climate change, etc., and so forth. The first is your carbon emissions, the second is your water footprint, and the third would be your waste footprint. Now, sustainability reporting is for any company a journey into introspection. Like we meditate, we introspect into our own mind. When a company starts this journey, a lot of things would be revealed, because see, typically we have been focusing on profit maximization only in companies. Sustainability reporting, embarking on that journey, will show companies that they have a much larger responsibility and a much larger footprint all across their operations. So just to start out with, see, there is no rocket science behind sustainability reporting, or even starting out with the first steps in sustainability reporting. You just focus on your carbon footprint. There are various types of carbon footprints. We need not go into the details right now. Focus on your water footprint, focus on the waste footprint, and the governance aspect. There has to be an intent. Nothing starts out without an intent. So from the board level, there has to be an intent to make a difference or make a positive difference. So once that is achieved, your journey begins, and it is an evolving journey. It takes years, it takes a reasonable amount of time to get maturity in that type of a journey. So I think it's a very simple thing to do. First, create an intent, which we generally call as governance in this whole context. Once that governance is in place, once there is a board level intent that we need to be accountable, we need to find out where we stand, not only in terms of profit maximization, but also in terms of our impact, so that we can have continued business operations. I'll just give you a very simple example. You have a pharma company. Now, we all know that pharma company is a heavy water user. The water footprint is quite high for a pharma company. Now, you have a company, you have a unit in an area where groundwater is little scarce. You have not touched upon that aspect. It has not been covered under the due diligence since ages. You have been working, you have been manufacturing, you have been producing, things are going on as usual, business as usual. But one fine day, the groundwater levels have dropped. Now, what is the company going to do about it? Are we going to shut shop? No. So these are the risks. So basically, sustainability risks is a real risk. They take you beyond and above your current business operations. Business continuity planning, it also falls under the scope of sustainability reporting and sustainability analysis.
Thank you, Vivek. My question for you, Ankit, is how can ESG and sustainability help businesses survive through tough times like supply chain shortages, price hikes, and supply chain disruptions that we're seeing very often these days?
Thank you, Anjani, for the question. So, if you want to link ESG and sustainability, first of all, to supplement or complement what Vivek mentioned, It's important to know, sustainability has been a buzzword for 25, 30 years, right? Sustainability is basically doing good. It means that you are looking after the environment, you're looking after the people, but it's not measurable. You come to ESG, it allows you to measure it against metrics. Now, what are metrics? What you can't measure, you can't manage. So if I told you that every time you honk in your car, you press the horn, there is a fee attached to it, will you stop honking or do it less? Right? Similarly, if I told you that there is an energy meter, you are a business, you are a homeowner, you stay in a flat, a bungalow, there is an electric bill you see, but what about a carbon bill? So when you start linking your environmental metrics, be it carbon, be it energy, be it waste, to money, what is waste? Anyone in one or two words, what do you think waste is? Anyone? Waste is essentially things that you did not utilize in your production, for example. It might be excess raw material. It might be something that came out of your manufacturing that you did not use. You bought it and then it turned into waste. But the moment you stop thinking of something as waste, but a secondary resource, is this something that I can use? यहाँ पे use नहीं हुआ है, कहीं और मैं use कर सकता हूँ. Then it becomes, you attach a monetary value to it. Suppliers are a very important part. This links to scope 3 emission. I will not go into the technicalities of scope 3, but essentially अगर हमें carbon reduce करना है, तो my carbon footprint, if I say what is it? I woke up in the morning, I started, I made a cup of tea, तो उसमें energy use हुआ, you have a shower, you travel to here, all of these are. पर scope 3 क्या होता है? All of these, when you look at your suppliers, who supplied it to you, what losses in energy happened until the time you used it, all of that is an impact. So for any SME, whether you're a small and medium enterprise or an individual, the moment you start linking environmental metrics or ESG metrics, waste, water, energy, carbon, whatever impacts are there, to money, then you will directly see that benefit. So I'm going to keep it to that. But given that the theme is innovation, I also wanted to put one more topic in your minds. I recently read an article which started by saying that every company, every individual is happy to innovate as long as they don't have to do something very different. Now that is not what innovation is. We have to go out of our comfort zone. So that is one essential part I will tell you about sustainability as well. Having said that, not everything is rocket science. Simple changes when you walk out of a room, turning off the light, as well as simple maintenance in a small and medium enterprise. I'll give you an actual data. In the UK, a survey done between 2005 and 2010 showed that just by maintaining a plant or a facility, good maintenance of their mechanisms, their gear systems, and so on, saved them 6% of energy. It is better to do that than actually saying we will end up planting trees. Simple, basic housekeeping and maintenance. I'm going to stop over here, but pass on to other colleagues. Thank you, Anjani.
My question for you, Mr. Snehal, is with your experience in waste management, what is one innovation you see in electronic waste and plastic waste management that can scale in Indian cities without becoming a cost burden?
So, like before answering this question, I want to make it little lighter one. Anyone is interested in the waste management business or want to set up the startup in future? One person. So we can discuss offline. You can come to my office anytime. Anyone who wants to enter into the AI area, artificial intelligence and the software area in this room? Again, 2%. So other people, whosoever is doing whatever the business, whether you enter into the pharmaceutical business or textile business, or you enter into the creativity, or you become the artist. Earlier, 15, 20, 30 years back, like chartered accountant were talking about only the numbers. Today, Vivek, being a dynamic leader, he is talking about the ESG and sustainability also. So you be in the any field, you need to discuss about the ESG, sustainability, waste management, circular economy, everything. Then only your business would be sustainable. You need to talk about the artificial intelligence also. So these are the artificial intelligence, ESG, sustainability, waste management, renewable energy. These are like by default now you need to know this thing, and it is like tables. Like when we in the childhood we study the tables. So it is like tables. You need to know this. So for waste management in India, after the Swachh Bharat mission launched by the Prime Minister of India, it has become the boom now. So many people wants to enter into this business, but the biggest problem is the data is not available. Like before 10 years, no data were available. Data were available, but it was not auditable. So the digital transformation happened in India by the Ministry of Environment and by the certain startups helps actually to bring the data on the table. So that is the one area where now we are talking about the waste management at the city level. Many startup has entered into the business and they have set up the material recovery facility, AI based sorting machines. Like in one of the company where we have invested, they are sorting the plastic waste based on the artificial intelligence. So we cannot think what the AI can do in the future. So this kind of the startups are there. So digital governance, digital infrastructure, and bricks and mortar wala infrastructure is very important. And what the Vivek also mentioned, intent. So the intent can be, if we go with the right intent, it can be scaled at the any level. So these are the major two things which we need to keep in the mind. Yeah.
My question for you, Ritika, with your diverse background, but also your focus on nature-based solutions and biodiversity, people understand carbon now. They fairly understand what carbon is, why carbon needs to be calculated, but nature and biodiversity still feel very abstract to people. What is the simplest way to explain why businesses, not individuals, need to care about nature and biodiversity?
Thanks for the question. The reason it feels very abstract right now from the context of biodiversity, because corporation doesn't have to pay for clean air. They doesn't have to pay for the water they are utilizing. They don't have to pay for the well-being of flora, fauna in their vicinity or maybe at the factory site that they are working at. So once when we see how biodiversity are visible in the balance sheet, it makes more better argument for businesses to care. As Ankit sir was mentioning, when the matrix KPIs comes into the place, the businesses feel more responsible to manage it. However, there are many new frameworks are coming up, TNFT, IBBI, which is arguing that how companies can start small and yet take up visible steps. For example, groundwater recharge. You are using water maybe at your head office or your factory. So you can recharge your water, whatever you have taken back, you have treated the water, and you are by some water initiatives like rain harvesting systems and some other initiatives, you can recharge the ground level as well. So companies get a visible road plan. They also get some target to get water positive. Similarly, they also have to understand and assess that maybe hypothetically may not be directly but indirectly also are they harming the biodiversity. So once Vivek sir also mentioned about the intent, when intent is there, you also try to find out the ways on how to realize the impact that you are creating on the biodiversity, and then the concept becomes less abstract and more visible through different initiatives. Yeah.
And we're sitting here at the AI and Innovation Conference, and I'm glad AMA included sustainability as a topic because I think all the speakers might reiterate this. The environmental impact of artificial intelligence is huge. Tell me if my number is correct, but they say that one prompt search is almost 60 liters of water. So that 1 hour of session that we just had was like what, 1,000 liters of water or more? So, I mean, that one song would be a few liters, right? So the point is that now more than ever we need to think about what the impact is on the earth, because without water, without clean air, without nature, good nature, there's no point of any innovation at all. So yeah, thank you. My question for you, Vivek, is what are the main challenges that the companies face in implementing sustainability? And we're talking about, how a corporate response to compliances, because the government is also coming up with compliances, as you mentioned, right? So, what are the challenges the companies face, and how do they, deal with these challenges?
See, in my experience with corporates in sustainability reporting and their journey taking handholding, etc., the main challenge I have found is with their mindset. Technical details, metrics, measurements, data gathering, all that can be managed. But why? The question is why. We know why because we are professionals practicing this since a lot of years now. Companies typically have a mindset, सरकार ने बताया है कि ये करना है, इसीलिए हमको करना है. What they do not realize is the value that they are going to add to their own company by embarking on this journey. I've always been telling them that you must at least get onto this journey with a positive intent, not because you are required to do so by the government, but because you should be doing it for your own business sustainability for the next 10, 20, 30 years. If you want to remain in business for the next 2, 3, 4 decades, this is where you should start out from. So this is the biggest challenge. I know I may be sounding a little philosophical over here, but this is practical reality. So come out of the compliance mindset. I'll just give you an example. When all of us are saying that everything that we do has a carbon impact, a water impact, a simple cotton shirt that we are wearing today, right from growing the cotton to the knitting, sewing, dyeing, and getting that shirt to the showroom and to our homes. What is the water footprint for the entire journey? Any guesses? How many liters of water for one simple cotton shirt? Almost 1600 liters of water. Now, environmentalists would tell us that you should save water. But when the positive intent is there, when we see the impact of what we are doing, we will realize, and what we do at an individual level will translate into a corporate practice also. So to start out with, there has to be a positive mindset in all the corporates, not just the top 1,000 listed companies who are mandated by the government, but everyone starting out with this journey, that we are going to find gold and diamonds when we embark on this journey in the future. Having said that, you have started out with this journey. Now focus on the fundamentals. They start out with Google search and AI search. What is this? What are the technical jargon, so on and so forth. They get all muddled up. That is another challenge at the practical implementation level which companies are facing. So to overcome that challenge, right, as we say in life and in every field of life, focus on the fundamentals. Keep it basic, keep it simple. We are there as professionals to deal with the technicalities of everything. But as a corporate practitioner at a company level, keep it simple, focus on few simple fundamentals, like I said earlier, on your intent, on your governance, on your policies, on your carbon footprint, on your water footprint, and on waste footprint. If these few things are dealt with properly and tackled, everything else will fall into place. That's what I would like to say.
Absolutely. It's funny, right? How the fundamental things that we need to for living is something that has to be mandated to us, and we just don't do it by default.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, something as simple as clean air, right? We all want clean air. We're all complaining about the air not being clean, but we're not asking the question that why is it like that, and what can we do as a company to change this? So, Ankit, my next question to you is, since innovation is the theme for the day, what is the most practical operational innovation that you see that helps cut carbon emissions?
Okay.
Also, sorry
yeah,
to interrupt, but maybe
No-
something that people, students can implement in their everyday life, apart from what companies can do, if you can give an example.
So let me start by waking up the room. I want more involvement. Let's start with, the ladies in the green jacket over there. Very nice color. that entire row and the row behind it. Are you all ready? Are you all listening? Entire row, left to right, and the row behind it. Are you all listening? Hands up. Yeah? Okay, when I say start, I want you to hold your breath until I say stop. जब तक मैं stop ना बोलूं, आप सांस रोक के रखिए. Are you ready? All right, start. Stop. चीटिंग तो पता नहीं किसने किया है ये दो रो में, पर मेरा क्वेश्चन है, डिड द रेस्ट ऑफ यू, दीज फर्स्ट 5 रोज, द वंस बिहाइंड, आपने भी रोक के रखा था सांस? सबने रखा था? राइट? सब? अरे वाह, अरे वाह. So this is a very good room. Normally, so these 2 rows were Delhi. AQI खराब हो गया, right? You could not breathe. The rest of us were looking around the room. We were thinking खराब है AQI. But impact ये 2 row को हो रहा है. The rest of you had the freedom to breathe. Don't wait until you have to stop breathing. That is point number 1 for me. AQI किस किसने इस साल देखा था? How many of you looked at the AQI numbers? I'm sure सब झूठ बोल रहे हैं, सबने देखा होगा, right? This has become AI है और बीच में Q डाल दिया. AQI has become the thing for the last 3 months. सब बात करते हैं, मेरे टाउन में क्या है, मेरे इलाके में क्या है, दिल्ली में क्या है. Now, with a show of hand, हाथ ऊपर करके दिखाओ कि किसने क्या किया. Did you do anything to reduce your AQI? Anyone? Yes, madam. बताइए, I'd love to hear, please. Big round of applause. But this is the example I wanted to give. Action has to start from us. When we say industries have to do this, when we say government has to do this, yes, they have to. Government will have to design a regulation that works. They will have to provide an infrastructure that works. We can say recycling क्यों नहीं होता है, but if there are not enough companies, नहीं होगा. Regulation नहीं है, which are not intact, and I'm sure Snehal will talk more about regulations and how well or not they work. ये सब गवर्नमेंट का काम है, इंडस्ट्रीज का काम है to keep on pumping economy. Primary काम तो ये है ना. I am not going to say what we call in sustainability is called best practicable environmental option. कल उठ के अगर आप एनवायरनमेंट के नाम पे इतना इन्वेस्ट करोगे कि कंपनी बंद हो गया, इज दैट सस्टेनेबल? सो दैट गोज फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस. कार्बन रिडक्शन है ना, हमने थोड़ा ज्यादा बढ़ा चढ़ा के, वी आर ओवर थिंकिंग कार्बन रिडक्शन. एनीथिंग दैट वी डू हैज एन इम्पैक्ट विच इनडायरेक्टली कॉजेज कार्बन एमिशन. Whether it is your daily habit of keeping the null on while you are brushing your teeth, or it is trying to boil water for too long, चाय बनाने हैं लेकिन साथ में रील देखने बैठ गए तो ये उबल गया, but we have not stopped the stove. छोटी छोटी आदतें हैं. All of these matter. But innovation is also important, and as I said earlier, innovation does not need to be complex. It has to be solving a business purpose. अगर आप ESG देख लो या sustainability देख लो, all of you understand a Venn diagram, right? उसका जो overlap है, economic, social, so sustainability का economic aspect है, social aspect है, and environmental aspect है. When all 3 meet, that is where sustainability is. I'll give you an example. In Europe, in the UK, 2003-4 में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट के रेगुलेशंस इंट्रोड्यूस किए गए, that any item that is classified as electronic or electrical equipment must be taken back. Take back करना है, फिर recycling का तो बाद में देखा जाएगा, by the supplier, by the producer. So there was this company who manufactured electronic panels for aeroplanes. वो एरोप्लेन की पैनल्स बनाती थी. Suddenly Boeing and Airbus and everyone is writing to them कि हम आपको पैनल भेजना शुरू कर देंगे. Within 6 months they had lakhs of such panels. अब वो सोच रहे टेक्नोलॉजी है नहीं, क्या करे. right? So innovation lana hai. What did they do? They teamed up with Nintendo. They teamed up with a lot of video games and they created artificial simulation cockpits जिसके साथ वीडियो गेम बेची and that eventually became that company's main business. They started making more money out of that side business than their main business. So innovation is not going to be something that you need to always say, I need Claude AI or I need Anthropic. Not all the time AI is the solution to everything. It is about the most simple, tangible, sensible things. The other thing to remember is for any company, it needs to be ownership. मैंने आपको बोला ये दो रो ने ownership ली. बाकी सारे, if you did not participate in that, then things are not going to move ahead. Shop floor to top floor. People working, on the floor right up to the management, the responsibilities has to be taken. If any of you are representing companies or end up working with someone in the sustainability space, one of the key things to see, observe, and be part of is to make sure that your sustainability strategy is aligned with your business strategy. This is very important. All of these actions lead to carbon reduction. Final thing, I must tell you all, sustainability tabhi hoga when you measure. What you can't measure, you can't manage. As simple as that. So anything that you do, आप एग्जाम्स देते हो, many of you are students, I can see over here. You give an exam, you give a mock exam to know how well I am doing in subjects X, Y, and Z. That creates a baseline and then you move ahead. So that's what you need to do. And finally, strength is not found in perfection but in resilience. Remember this, यहाँ पे लिखा है, हमने नहीं ये किया. It is as simple as that. Nothing needs to be perfect to be sustainable. Just be resilient, just be focused and dedicated in making that a parameter you are measuring. So sorry about the very long answer and to keep you all breathless, but thank you for participating. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit. So I just want to reiterate here that, we see sustainability or doing something for the environment as something which is an additional burden to the company. But as Vivek also mentioned, it is nothing but risk management, because if tomorrow the groundwater below your factory, you're extracting water from the ground, right? And if the groundwater is going really deep, basically it increases your cost, right? So sustainability in general is not something that you do for good. It's something that you do to make your business resilient to what's coming in the future. My question for Snehal is, what technological breakthrough enables scalable waste treatment to support the net zero waste initiative for Ahmedabad city? Just example for the Ahmedabad city.
So we brought the digital transformation for the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation for our company. Our company is working in the waste management. So starting from the waste picker registration. So we put the facial recognition app for the waste picker registration. Then for the collection, how we can reduce the carbon emission while collecting the waste. Then the segregation, we have put up the AI-based technology in the sorting plants. And of course, then the recycling plant. So the complete digital transformation, digital governance we put into the place. And then, of course, the policy like the EPR policy, extended producer responsibility. So you people might have heard the EPR. So whatever the plastic, now there are many commodity attracts the EPR. So whatever the plastic is being thrown by any of the company in the India, that has to be collected back and getting recycled, or they are responsible for the sustainable end disposal. It means, suppose Pepsi or Coca-Cola, I'm just giving the name as an example, or the Dabur, whatever the beverages bottle or the Chyawanprash dabba they are putting into the market, they have to collect back and getting recycled or doing the sustainable end disposal. So that has helped a lot for the scalability of the any corporation or the urban local body. Of course, the data collection and data analysis and putting right to the public, corporation, different stakeholders, that has helped for the scaling of the any business. Secondly, putting the right infrastructure. So earlier we believed, we as an Indian or the global people were believing that the waste to energy is the good example, like whatever the waste is generated, we just put into the something and there would be energy generation out of that. So that doesn't work well. We being a waste management company, whatever the waste comes to our site, that is either 100% recycle or we are sending for the co-processing to the cement plants. So we become the zero waste to landfill to showcase to the public. You individual household can easily achieve the zero waste to landfill. So either it goes for the proper segregation and all that stuff. So again, it's a number of solution we need to work for the scalability, and waste management or the sustainability. Sometimes it is a complex problem. So there is no standard solution for the different geography, for the different mindset. We need to take the different solutions.
Thank you, Snehal. Ritika, my question to you is, what is that one practical nature positive action that companies can measure and talk about credibly without greenwashing? And before you answer the question, if you can also explain what greenwashing is to our audience.
So the greenwashing means that when you are measuring, you are taking in the name of environment and some steps, but in reality, it's not creating any impact. It's not helping you to save the environment. It's not helping to also bring welfare to your employees, your laborers and the staff. And the governance is weaker than it looks on the paper. So, for example, as Sir has mentioned, when we are recycling plastic and everything, the company is saying that we are recycling the plastic, but the company is not trying to reduce their plastic consumption as well. I mean, there is a 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. So, company is saying that okay, fine. At the end of the day, whatever we are producing or consuming, we are recycling. So, we have a leeway to use as much as we want. So rather than doing that mindset is may seem very good in their marketing strategy, but in reality, from the perspective of impact, it might be a greenwashing. They might say that this paper cup packaging or this product is environmental friendly because they are using organic farming initiative or something, but they are using a lot of water, they are using a heavy consumption of fertilizer, or they are having, the outdated trucks for their transportation, which is emitting a huge amount of emissions into the society. So it is partially green, but it may not be impact wise truly environmental friendly, and companies are not focusing, so it looks like greenwashing. Now there are two reasons behind it for such initiative. It could be because the companies may not know how to do it. They do not know what are the scope, how to truly measure it. The second thing is sometimes it's like a quick fruit. Okay, whatever we can do, we are doing it. Rest is like maybe after some years we'll take it up, or like the intent is missing from there.
So thank you for explaining greenwashing. The follow-up question was that what is one practical nature positive action that companies can take and measure at the same time?
Yeah. So I'll focus on again the word nature positive. It means whatever you are taking from the nature, you are giving it back. You are taking water, you are taking air, you are taking resources, like all the AI need critical minerals. And we all know where are these critical mineral supply chain risk. India, what is having, China's, what is their strength. So lot of mineral based are coming. So if your company is using heavy water, please try to convey in your business operations, in your team's innovative idea, business plan, that how we can recharge it back. If your company is situated in an eco-sensitive zone, you might see that your current business is very green, but there the entire cycle to procure those items may be very intensive, very biodiversity risk is there. So you need to go back into heavy afforestation, not only the plantation, because we see a lot of claims are coming up about plantation drives, but hardly we come to know that okay, in 2016 companies have taken 100 trees plantation initiative. Then we don't know how much of plants survived, what kind of plants was planted, where it is planted, does it actually helping in reducing little bit of AQI of that area, or where it is needed, have they planted it in the same way? So we have to take it up thinking that whatever we are taking it back, we have to give it back to the society. So few initiatives could be, yes, water is easily to measure because now the studies have evolved, the frameworks are at the place, carbon accounting is at the place, then we have waste disposable. Lot of MSMEs think, or like your parents, your family business might not be into a large corporation, but it's still a business. It is still using some supply chain based out of the nature, and we need to think that how can we give it back. So waste management is very important to consider, and out of the way, if you can just think about your municipal urban local bodies where there could be plantation, there could be cleaning drives that you can take it up, would be very helpful.
Ritika. I have a few general questions for our panelists, whoever can take it up. The first question is that almost all of you all have at least 2 decades or more experience working in this field. What is that one sustainability lesson that you've changed your mind about? You know, when you started out in your career, you were thinking in a certain way. But what has evolved over these years of work?
Answer that question. Uh, if I tell any one of you in general, आपको ये चीज़ करना है, एनवायरनमेंट के लिए अच्छी बात है, तो कितने लोग करेंगे वॉलंटरीली? Yeah, maybe 40% of all of us. That applies to the whole population at large, everywhere. But if I tell you कि आप अगर ये चीज़ करोगे, तो उससे आपको मॉनेटरी फायदा होगा, पैसा मिलेगा, फिर कितने लोग करेंगे? So the rest of the 60% also raising their hands now. So the biggest lesson that I have learned in my professional journey is when you connect finance and value to any sustainability initiative, it will be the best to implement and the easiest to implement. It's nothing bad or it's nothing wrong, but it's just the way every one of us thinks. So I think whenever we do something, if we are not having a very positive intent, just think on the long term कि अगर मैं ये करूँगा या करूँगी तो उसका मुझे क्या फ़ायदा होगा और बाकी सबको क्या फ़ायदा होगा. That फ़ायदा may be in terms of money, it may be terms of your good health and well-being generally. In whatever way you derive that value, value has to be attached to what you do. If you do that, you will get your why and you will end up doing it. So just connect that why and practice it.
Yeah, please.
Okay, no, this is a very valid point, and as I always say, Sam Dam Dand Bhed, right? Ideally, you want to understand it. Sam. Dam is the monetary value. Dand is penalty. Penalty is where people are always moving. अगर penalty नहीं की तो traffic light सब तोड़ते हैं. अगर traffic light नहीं तोड़ने का 1000 रुपया दिया तो ज़्यादा लोग नहीं तोड़ेंगे. But we can't afford it. But that is where this is most important. So in 25 years, what I've seen is that sustainability is also very fashionable. It has evolved like fashion. सबको बात करना है उसके बारे में. Initially, when I started, family members also said, what do you do? Plant trees? Because कुछ था ही नहीं उस time पे. Things have evolved. Since then, there are many things. You'll hear about the COP 25, 27, 29. You will hear about Paris Agreement. You will hear about net zero. You'll hear a lot of terminology. For me, the most important thing is what is relevant to you. सबको सब करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. If you do not generate waste, उसमें मत ध्यान दो. If actually your impact is biodiversity, why are you not? अगर I don't have the exact number, but one of the great scientists once said that when the last honeybee disappears from Earth, human being will be wiped off in 7 days. We forget this. We are so dependent on nature. It is as simple as that. So हमारे impact कहाँ पे है? If you do not act on your impact but try to do what is fashionable, then you are not causing an actual impact. You are ticking a box, going back to greenwashing. So that is the most important thing which I tell companies as well, that you have a company vision, mission, objectives. फिर मैं पूछता हूँ सस्टेनेबिलिटी का क्या है? बहुत बड़ी टीम है. They have a parallel set of vision, mission, objectives. They don't meet. ये parallel रास्ते जाते रहते हैं, opposite ways. Now that's not going to work. They must intersect. You must have a sustainability vision that lets your company grow. Likewise, individual impacts, it has to be the same. And let's not think about the fashion. Let's not think about the current buzzword. ESG आज बहुत बात किया. The key idea is, are you measuring what your impact is beyond, what people are talking about? And keep it to that. Thank you.
Anything like which gives on the scale, like I am more fascinated during the journey. So if we make the granules out of the waste and it is a sellable, it gives the value, then only there is a real contribution to the environment. Otherwise, there is no contribution. Today, we do a lot of work on the solar EPC and the trading of the solar panel also. So now people, even at the northeast area, in the southern part of the India, like UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, everybody is running around putting the solar plant at their houses. Why? Because there is a push, there is a benefit out of that. Because subsidy is given by the central government, state government, and then you have the feeling that after installing this, I would be paying nothing to the state electricity board. And that is why people are encouraged to do that action. So how the policy drives the people to achieve the overall goal of the sustainability, that helps a lot. So that infrastructure, either we can be a part of creating those infrastructure, being an individual, that which can help the society, or which can be or you can be a part of the regulator. So you can get the job in the government authorities and you drive the sustainability. I remember, like in Ahmedabad in the year 2000, one of the commissioner came and he took that drive that all the roads should be fantastic in the Ahmedabad. And after that, that commissioner went to the World Bank. So how you drive your, means what kind of the change you want to do in the society, within your business, within your, if you are doing job within your company. So it depends on you, how you want to drive. That is what my understanding.
Yes, just to reiterate the question, Ritika, over your experience of 10 years?
5 years.
5 years. What is that one sustainability lesson that has changed your mind, like you've changed your mind about?
Yeah. So I'll tell you a brief about it. When I was starting my career in ESG, that time it was not been a very hyped like as it is now. All the companies are recruiting, all the consulting companies are knowing about it. It was very new concept, and I come from a family where we either appreciate being an CA, accountant, or engineer. So for them, this profession was like something. They thought it's like a charity, to be honest. They thought, okay, she is going to be poor for her rest of her life. So, okay, so like let her study and we'll get her married or something like that. But I was very much fond of this line. I knew that I wanted to work on it. I didn't know that, what kind of thought I have, the kind of intent I have will lead me to have a good career. I mean, at the end, I want a good career. I wanted to have a good career, yet I wanted to create an impact. So as we know that necessity is the mother of innovation. When now there are already a lot of studies available that Earth has crossed its planetary boundaries, which helps for Earth to be operating and working for a long time. So you might be listening about this now, but if you can take up some time after this conference and read about it, you will already know there are so many initiatives that are happening. So one thing that changed for me was when I saw companies are taking up so many fundamental changes in their operation. They are being very conscious about their packaging. They're conscious about how they are utilizing the raw material. Made me more a impact based accountant. Now when I see a like a glass bottle, I don't only see what is the price, whether the design is good. I also want to know where it came from, how much water it has used, how much emission has been produced. If I throw away, where will it go? Whether will it be properly utilized or not? And one lesson is about the amount of waste has been available throughout the globe. Now being a girl, you always like to shop, you always like to have like multiple things, be it at different colors, be it of different shapes, size. But now my mind is like, okay, do I really need it? I mean, can I just say it, hold on for a few months, and then I can buy it? Would I still need it? So that is are the lessons. Being in this profession is also helping me to make personal life changes. I wouldn't say that I'm all there. I'm a very green, responsible person, but I'm trying to become more conscious about it and less guilty conscious.
Thank you. That's the perfect segue to my last question for the day. I see a lot of students in the audience, and we're all talking about artificial intelligence and innovation, but they say that climate tech is where maximum investments are going to happen over the next 2 decades. So for the students here, all of you all are some of the best in this profession. What are the possible career pathways in sustainability? And even if they're not pursuing a career in sustainability, like how do they make sure that whatever path they are following, they're bringing sustainability into that career path?
I would like to take it. This question is because I'm just working out. I am still learning a lot from my seniors and ideas. But a lot of innovations are happening. Right now, we are working with one venture capitalist fund company. So they are investing a lot of consumer brands, face brands, but they are very into responsible consumption and production. So they have two modules. One is mainstream business. It's fine. You are producing normal furniture. You are producing normal clothing brand. But within that manufacturing, that USP, can you become more conscious about utilizing your materials more efficiently? Can you make sure that it's not creating any environmental impact? The second thing is you can always come up and involve into green business. For example, we are talking about alternatives of solar energy was the alternative of thermal based electricity. Then we are talking about plastic waste to changes to glass, and then glass related material which is easily recyclable. We can use it for a longer period of time. So there are a lot of parameters. You don't have to only get into ESG consulting or which is advisory, taking up initiative, but in each of the parameter, such as supply chain, such as waste management, water management. So you can learn about any of this criteria, get a very basic idea कि अगर मैं ये प्रोडक्ट बनाती हूँ तो मुझे कितना पानी यूज़ हो रहा है, कितना एनवायरनमेंट में इम्पैक्ट आएगा, पोल्यूशन कितना हो रहा है. सेम उसी तरीके से जैसे अगर आप कॉस्टिंग निकालते हो किसी भी प्रोडक्ट की, अगर हम ये टाइप का कैप यूज़ करें तो इतना कॉस्टिंग आएगा, ये मटेरियल यूज़ करेंगे, ये डिज़ाइनिंग आइडियाज़ रहेगा तो इतना टाइम लगेगा, इतना कॉस्टिंग लगेगा. द सेम वे यू कैन डू इट फॉर द intangible things which you are not paying for it now, but you will pay it in the future. So having that idea, you can implement it in your business idea, or whenever you go become a manager at a different companies, you can implement it. So there are different methods are available. With this thought, you can start making such decisions.
Yeah, thank you. With all three of your experience, if you can also address them on.
Yeah. So in the sustainability or the ESG field, there are broadly I will categorize into two parts. One is the softer skills, and one is the hard skills, bricks and mortar kind of the business or the job. So suppose you can go into the softer skill, creating the climate tech or the consulting, and you do the analysis of the data and you give the policy advocacy kind of stuff to the society. And another is the actual execution and the implementation part. So you can think of the solar, wind, renewable energies. Now the batteries are coming in, so you can think of the batteries side, any battery assembling line or installation of the same. Similarly, the waste management, water management, air management, the plant-based ecosystem. There are many business around the planting the trees and all that stuff. and then of course the getting the consulting part and that. So there are two basically parts. You need to decide where you want to choose your career.
Yes, ma'am. You.
सर जो गवर्नमेंट का एक डिसीजन था अरावली हिल के ऊपर कि उसमें जो माउंटेन्स है 100 मीटर्स के डाउन वो मतलब डिस्ट्रॉय किए जाएंगे फॉर पर्पस. सो दिस कैन बी ऑल्सो हार्मफुल फॉर ट्रीज ऑल्सो बट द कोल्ड विंड्स आर कमिंग ऑल्सो. सो दिस कैन बी नॉट unsustainable for. Yeah.
So I think you are asking that the mountains are getting cut
Yes.
because of the various coal mining and or the mining activities happening. So whether it is a sustainable or not, that is what your question is, correct? See, in India, there is a EIA notification, Environmental Impact Assessment Notification, which is in force since many years. So there are a number of categories of the projects. Like if you want to put up the cement plant or the power plant or chemical plant, pharmaceutical plant, textile plant, even the coal mining, any mining activity if you want to do. So there is a rigorous process of getting approval from the ministry, which includes the public consultation also. Public consultation means if the project is getting set up in Ahmedabad, suppose, I am just hypothetically saying, then the public within the 10-kilometer radius area are invited to give their objections, suggestions, and they can raise the questions. So for any project which is coming up, so they go through the systematically process, they assess the what would be the environmental impact, what would be the damage to the environment, what would be the damage to the people. These all things are getting assessed. Then there is a management plan to that, because whether this project is like going to be help in a even economy or not, those answers are also answered in these questions. So there is a process, and then it is decided whether we should go ahead with this project or not. So there is a panel of around 14, 15 people from the different field. Like one is from the environment, what you call the economy side. One is from the within environment group. Also, one would be from the air side, water side. So this is how the process is in India. So we can blindly cannot say that whether it is a sustainable or unsustainable. We cannot arrive to that conclusion.
Thank you, sir.
Let me quickly just add to that. Absolutely spot on. But I'll add by asking a question. Are solar farms sustainable? Solar electricity? Right? What happens when solar farms are set up in certain places? A lot of people are displaced from there. It happens at times. There is always an impact. The whole idea is you have an environmental social impact assessment, as Snehal was saying, because you need to do an overall analysis of whether, on balance, I'm not going to comment on whether or not it was a right government decision. I'm sure there are lots of forces at play over there, but this is on balance how one should look at.
Thank you all for joining us today for the panel. And I would, can we open the floor for audience questions? Okay, we can take one more question maybe. Yes, there.
I'm talking about after use. There are many electronic items, toys, so many things, vehicle, transport, this and that. And I have seen with myself, I have seen that many people who rag pickers and collectors, they know that titanium, like because semiconductors, they start burning. And because of burning, so many poisonous things are generated. And they directly attack the lungs and also spread in the environment, or their particle also in the soil. So how the scrapping technology could be improved so that the waste, after use ultimately whatever items we are manufacturing, they have their life. So ultimately, how we can dispose of technology or recycling or scrapping technology could be improved, so that it could be an economy also.
I would answer this question slightly differently. This is not the issue of the technology majorly. So technologies are available worldwide. Even in India also it is available. It is a conflict between the people, informal sector and the established players. Suppose there are huge informal sector involved in India, which is also a backbone of the waste management, I would say. For the tire, if you take the tire, there is an informal sector. For the used oil, there is an informal sector. For the e-waste also, there is an informal sector involved. For the informal sector, their wages are very important, their livelihood is very important. So they burn in the open, they try to extract something in a shortcut manner without getting monitored by the regulators or without getting knowing the know-how of the subject, and they take the shortcuts and they get benefit. Now we are, as an Indian, what should be our role? How we make this informal sector into the formalized sector. So how we can involve the this informal sector and getting established into the standard sector where recycling happens with the certain standards and the technologies. That should be the role. Even if I put the technology today, like I put the 10 crore, 15 crore plant of any recycling, but I will not get the raw material because it is getting like done by the informal sector. So that is the challenge, major challenge. So there are many people who wants to put the technology in India, but again, it is not sustainable.
I'll just go one step beyond it. Sorry, I know you have a follow-up question. Just one step beyond it. So there is recycling, very important. But what are we forgetting? Everything prior to that. EU has just introduced the right to repair, right? Which means that you manufacture a washing machine, you must provide spare parts for 10 years. You must have a installation or a repair manual available for 15 years. I think, we need to think beyond. Recycling is great. There is technology, as Snehal was saying. There are enough people that the informal sector is very knowledgeable. And if their knowledge can be combined with the right technology providers, the right rate, the right regulations come, that'll work. But we need to also think about one step higher. First of all, avoid. Do we need it? But if we have used it, as I said earlier, let's not call it a waste until it truly is zero value. In which case, there is still value when recycling happens.
Thank you. In interest of time, I think that's the last question we could have taken. Thank you all for joining, and a special thanks to Vivek, Ankit, Snehal, and Ritika for spending time with us.